How's it going, everybody? We got part 4 of the Revilgaz Stranglethorn Vale. We are very fortunate that we're able to have a mostly universal deck for all of our families, but we will be doing substitutions. So keep an eye out on the little panel above me because I'm going to be going through the family substitutions for each stage, a couple other options that you can use to tackle the bosses here. But as always, I'll be using my weakest army possible to get through it, and at the end I'll show you how I spend my gold and how I'm kind of eyeballing the future of my heroic campaign journey. As always, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Alright, so we're going to start with Jin'do The Hexxer. It's a very interesting fight, and luckily for us, as you're going to see with much of this heroic guy for Stranglethorn Vale, we're going to be using a very similar army across the board. The main 5 components are going to be Harpies, Safety Pilot, Whelplings, Execute, that will sub out Execute for 1 fight, and then Quillbore. So that's going to be our main 5 for Stranglethorn Vale, and our main 5 for all the previous sections, basically. And going forward, we're going to get a lot of mileage out of those characters, so feel free to slap as much experience on those characters as possible. But for right now, let's get into Jin'do, and we'll talk about what's going on in the map. Alright, so Jin'do The Hexxer is very similar to his regular component, the regular campaign, except he just does his mechanic more often, and from a further range. So whenever a character passes this middle line, they're going to turn into a chicken. If an entire squad passes at the same time, they'll turn all into chickens. If you throw in Warsong Raider and an Abomination at the exact same time, they'll both turn into chickens. So it is like a AoE line that hits over a timeline. Once that first group is turned into chickens, you can go ahead and send in different units, and they will not be. Now, those chickens act as a type of siege unit where they're going to completely ignore whatever way this arrow is pushing, and they're going to go up to the top left, and they're just going to sit on the boss, and they don't actually attack them, they just sit there. So we're going to have to navigate around that mechanic, and we're going to do so simply by just controlling all the objectives and slow burning the boss, or lasting to the last minute and then dive bombing the boss with all the extra gold. So our first objective is to take this middle tower right here. You're going to find that it's going to be swarmed with a bunch of units at the very beginning. You're going to want to drop your safe pilot right here on the enemy, or your whelps, or even your execute to help take that tower as quickly as possible. From there, we're going to establish a gold lead. So we're going to try and get this chest right off the rip, and every time it spawns up. And we'll even throw a safety pilot right up here anytime we can. Now, we can't throw a Quillbore to get it because he'll turn into a chicken and just run over here. It has to be the safety pilot. Once you've established some sort of gold lead, we'll start attacking these towers. We're going to want to do it by switching the left and right arrows to face the tower. Also, we're going to have to do that to get our our kobold, to actually get the gold from these mines. If we try and get this gold mine right here, our kobold will turn to a chicken and just go away. Once we own these towers, we still have to summon our kobolds from the bottom, because if we summon the kobold right there and the boss's cooldown is off, it's going to turn to a chicken and run at us. Alright, let's do the gameplay. This might be a long one. It was when I did it for most of the families, and we're using our weakest family here, so we're trying to establish what happened the first time. I'll actually throw Hogger here just to make sure I can secure that chest. The Harpies will do their job. We'll throw chickens. And we'll get ready to execute this tower along with our Harpies. Bam. I love that execute spell. We even save all our chickens. So watch right here. Watch the squad of Harpies. They all get turned. The cool part about the beast build is that because we already have chickens, they are immune to the effects, which I thought was pretty nifty. As always, we'll let that ogre get in range before we try and stop him. That way we don't just lose the gold from our safety pilot. And now I'll start trying to get a gold lead on these 2 nodes here, keeping an eye on this chest, and just really protecting this tower as much as possible. Now let's go ahead and throw chickens once these guys get in range. There we go. And we'll take out the Warsong Raider. I guess the Warsong Raider did get to ignore. Oops. Let's try and recapture that before it gets captured. Come on, Quillbore, 1 hit. Nice. Quillbore got the 1 necessary hit in to stop that. Let's go recapture that tower as soon as possible. And I might... Ooh. This is not good. We'll throw our whelps here to try and protect this chest. Nice. Okay, well, we didn't actually protect the chest, but that's fine. Let's get those gold nodes, and if I can execute that, that'd be very helpful. There you go. So we got that tower back. Once again, execute just showing how awesome it could be. Chickens should be able to save this tower for me. And now we're going to try and reestablish the control that we had before we lost that middle tower. So once again, he starts firing off, so now we'll go. Alright, we're going to wait till he does his chicken effect on the safety pilot once she jumps out of stealth. And then I'll actually summon my harpies and try and grab some gold here. There it is. So we'll summon our harpies. I'll throw my kobold up. And we'll even try and get some damage on the boss. Let's turn that boss around for a couple of the harpies anyway. And we'll throw some chickens in too. So we're actually getting some good damage here. That might have been greedy on the gold front, but with the Venomized talent on our harpies, it does look like we're going to get a quick victory here instead of having to wait it out. So that's the strategy, guys. Get your middle tower, defend the middle tower, control the gold sources, and eventually bleed up the boss. Take those other towers when the opportunity arises, and if you get a shot, take it. Alright, King Mukla is a lot more daunting when I was first doing it than when I came on the second account to get it done. And this is going to be very similar to the last match where we're just establishing control of the map. Now, there's no objectives to take over, which we'll talk about, but it could be a long drawn-out fight or it could be a really quick one if we do it properly. Let's get into it. So King Mukla is a very small map, which means that they get to us, our base, very quickly, we get to the boss very quickly. There's going to be endless squads of enemies, including some big wolves that are very dangerous. The main thing to remember is what we learned in the tutorial, which is flyers need to be taken out by anti-flyer units. Ground units that can't hit flyers, well, that's a good opportunity to throw the proper units there. There's going to be Tide Hunters here. We don't want to throw our Harpies at those. We want to throw maybe a Whelpling or a Safety Pilot. The Vultures, same thing. We'd like to take them out with anti-air units, not our Harpies, because they'll get damaged along the way. Instead, we want to use our Harpies on the Wolves, on the Raptors, on those sort of characters. We also need to deny the enemy kobolds as much gold as possible, because we will get swarmed with too many enemies if we let them get the gold nodes. Speaking of which, we kind of want to split the difference. So I want to send a unit into the middle left lane here and the middle right lane here so that I can send a kobold right up the middle to get that first gold node. From there, if we've done our dread properly, we should be able to get some damage in on the boss with either some Whelplings that will have made it to him and a Quillboar to turn the boss around. Save your Quillboar to turn the boss around, because then we can get good damage on him and take him out relatively easy. Alright, let's get into it. So let's do one of these. Safety Pilot right here, and I'll actually throw my chickens to help take the wolf out. There we go, no Quillboar yet, but now we'll go get that gold node. Now, we didn't get our Quillboar in time, so we're unfortunately not going to be able to utilize those first Harpies, but you see how they did make it to the boss, and with that Venom talent, they did a lot of damage. So we're not going to get greedy. We could definitely go for some more damage on the boss. Instead, let's wait till they attack the tower. We didn't wait for that one to get there, unfortunately. The Harpies will throw hands there, and now we'll turn the boss around with this Quillboar. You see how he turns around, and now our units are going to get lots of damage in there. And this might even be it. Oh, we'll try and stop that goblin. Not quite, but we will get rid of that wolf. And then the damage comes in on the boss. So, I'm getting through these very quickly because I do have very high-leveled whelps, very high-leveled harpies, and very high-level safety pilots. Those are our 3 MVPs. We're going to be using them for the entire campaign again. You see experience available for those guys, throw it at them ASAP. King Bangalash. Now, this is going to be one of those heroic stages that is absolutely free. It's free gold, free experience. Rush to this boss because there is a gimmick here where, well, let's get into this and talk about it. So King Bangalash is actually a very simple map, but we don't really care about the map. We don't care about the chest, the summoning stone, the gold nodes. We don't need to establish any kind of control over anything. All we're going to do is drop our flame whelps right on the butt of King Bangalash. The explosion from the Flame Burst talent will kill those Murlocs. Now, if you don't have the Flame Burst talent, you need to also drop the Safety Pilot right on the butt of King Bangalash. The circle doesn't look like it'll hit both, but it will, and it'll take them out. Once King Bangalash turns and he hits the whelp eggs, they'll pop, and they will simply solo the boss because he doesn't take care of anti-air. The one issue we might run into is if a troll, a Dark Spirit troll pops up, or I believe there's Huntresses, Ogre Mage, or Tide Hunter Murlocs. They could pop up and take our whelps off, and that's very annoying. We will have taken most of the boss's life off by then, and then we can just do a follow-up attack. But otherwise, we can try and, if you want to sub out Execute here for Blizzard, you can drop a Blizzard right here in this area to make sure that no range units take your whelps out. That's one way to do it. Or if you do have the Flame Burst talent, you can drop the whelps solo here to take both out, and then drop your Safety Pilot after the whelps are on the ground. Drop your Safety Pilot right here to take out those other units, and then King Bangalash is just going to fall over. It's a lot of fun. It's free gold. Let's get into some gameplay. And let me turn the music on. I forgot to unmute the game. All right, here we go. So we don't have our flame whelps out the gate, so I'll send a kobold in. I'll send chickens in. I'll throw my harpies up here. Now I have the safe pilot. I have my whelps and execute. I'll just wait for all that gold to stock up. And I'll also wait for him to send out his second pair of enemies. So there's a Sneed. And we want to send our whelps like right here, right inside of him. Let's do that. I'll start getting my safety pilot pop right here. There you go. See, an enemy did spawn here. I don't care that we're being attacked because our whelps just completely annihilate King Bangalash. You have no need to worry. This actually took longer than it normally does because I had to cycle through a bunch of nonsense to get to my whelp safety pilot combo. And after you get there, it's just free gold. All right, so enjoy that one. Do that first and then head on over to the more difficult stages in Stranglethorn Vale. Jin'rokh The Breaker is an absolute beast of a boss and not one that you should take lightly or take on a punch-up, though we do have a interesting mechanic we can use to circumvent his main obstacle. Let's get in and talk about it. So Jin'rokh The Breaker is an absolute nightmare boss because of his mechanic, where these troll berserkers, upon reaching 50% life, they do an explosion. That'll kill all your weak squad minis. Now, we can negate this mechanic entirely if we have a level 15 execute. That drops them to 50% life. They do it, and then they're just a sitting duck after that. So we can hit him with our harpies, chicken, safe pilot, whatever we want to hit him with at that point is fine. Alternatively, they have an animation when they do that passive. So if our harpies are beating on the boss, the second he stands still, we need to then drop an execute to save our harpies. Otherwise, it's going to cost us 6 gold or 5 gold or however many gold to deal with this berserker, and we have nothing left over showing for it. If that is the case, we'll quickly run a gold deficit and get left behind. So the first troll berserker is right there about midway through. The second troll berserker will be in the top right, then top left, and they will path down the left and right sides. If they get control of these summoning stones, we're going to be in big trouble, particularly this right bottom summoning stone, because the boss only summons super low-costing gold minis. We're talking chickens, tide hunters, griffin raiders, bat riders, raptors, and we'll quickly get overrun, and without proper safety pilot placement or whelping placement on like a super condensed unit, our base will quickly get destroyed. So our objective is to first take out this opening troll, gain control over this summoning stone and this gold node on the bottom right, and never give it up. Then we want to start pushing for these gold nodes in the middle. This is easier said than done because we've got to deal with threats coming from the left side. Troll hunters, tide murlocs, they're going to try and kill your kobolds from across the bridge, and the units like chickens, raptors coming from the top side. This is an extremely micromanaging fight if we want to do the sustained way. If we don't want to do the sustained way, we're going to have harpies on spawn with our execute to quickly deal with the first breaker here, drop a bunch of stuff on the summoning stone because the enemy will spawn in tide hunters, griffin raiders, all that kind of stuff that will take care of your harpies quickly if we try that. And then we need to summon a quill board directly behind the boss to flip it. I'm going to show the sustained way because that's kind of the more traditional path to get it done if you're trying to do a punch up or punch across. So we're going to go for that, and I'm already like, oh, doing this again is not fun. So I do actually suggest kind of coming back here after you've done the rest of Stranglethorn Vale, but I'll show you how to do it on a punch across. So here we go. And what are we starting with? We're starting with chickens and execute. I guess it could be worse. It could be better as well, though, if we had our harpies. So once he gets to 50% life, that's when we drop the execute. As soon as he stops moving. There it is right there. So he stopped moving. We dropped the chickens. And you can see the enemy went ahead and dropped chickens as well. Let's try and get control over that top node. Oof. Here. So I'm going to throw the kobold, but I'm also going to throw the quillboard right here. Because this kobold will start farming the ore before getting the summoning stone. Which is just completely useless. Let's try and get this summoning stone control. Good. Let's drop our whelp eggs here, since the Bat Rider doesn't deal with flying units very well. And now we need to... Oh, we got 6 gold. Ah, see, that chicken stole the tower. That's not good. We need to get that back ASAP. He stopped moving. We dropped the execute, but we were too slow. Look at all those units we just lost. That is really, really, really bad for us. That was, what, 6 gold or 9 gold total that we just lost in that exchange. That is not what you want to have happen. Oh, these raptors have the talent where when they get a kill, they get a heal. You see how they're full life, and now I just lost another huge exchange. Probably means I'm going to lose this match, and I'm way better off just resetting at this point. I'll try and muscle through just because we are doing this guide, so you can see the kind of the worst case scenario. But that was a horrible exchange, all in the back of losing my units, and we lost them again. So I'm playing really badly right now. I'm going to let those units die to the tower. We'll get some gold priority here. We'll see when the next units are coming in. We'll drop our safety pilot here. We'll drop our chickens here to deal with that. All right, there we go. So we got a little bit of priority back. Those chickens are definitely going to die to the explosion. I'm not going to summon in anything here because the explosion will kill, right? So now that he's done his explosion, we'll recapture the base and we'll kind of do a little hard reset. Oh, that safety pilot, MVP safety pilot, might have just saved the game for us on that one. Yeah, safety pilot's doing absolute amazing for us here. Yeah, we'll have to do this. Try and protect our kobold. Chickens will come in. We'll get ready on the execute here. He stopped moving, dropped the execute. Oh, but too slow again. All right, we ended up sharing gold with the enemy there. Don't love that. Let's save our base. Let's take care of that troll hunter there. These guys are often accompanied by a troll hunter, which is very, very, very annoying. We need 5 gold for this combo. We now have it. So when he stops moving, we drop the execute. There we go. Much, much better. All right, let's go ahead and throw some flyer units up here. They'll deal with that troll. I'm actually going to try and grab this summoning stone as well because I'm tired of the enemy spawning from there. Kobold can go up the middle, and Kobold can die from those raptors too. We didn't have an execute ready to save this, so we're going to have to throw chickens at it as well. Ah, but the raptors, they heal off chicken kills. Not good at all. And then that Quillboar erroneously pulled the damn raptors back up. But that's okay, we reached the overtime, so this is kind of the sustain method here. Let's get our harpies up there on the boss. We'll flip the boss around with our Quillboar, and then we'll get a lot of damage on him. Fortunately, we did a good job kind of controlling the gold flow up to this point. We kind of dropped the ball here at the end, but we're able to get a bunch of gold on the boss and get him from there. So you can kind of see the flow of the fight. You can see how some errors really set you far behind. Big gold deficits. Once again, strongly suggest you punch down on Jin'rokh The Breaker if you can help it. Alright, so Baron Revilgaz is not nearly as difficult as Jin'rokh The Breaker, fortunately, but there are some interesting mechanics and pathways for us to attack this boss from. Let's get into that right now. So for Baron, the main mechanic is going to be his partner in crime, the Tauren Cannoneer. Now that Cannoneer is going to throw 2 shots instead of 1, which is the regular mechanic, and it does insane damage. He will path all the way down till he's in range of your turret, and if it hits you, it does about 20% of your turret's life all the time. Once he lets one barrage go, though, we want to hit him with harpies or maybe chickens or whatever hard-hitting unit we can because it takes him a while to reload and get at you again. While we're dealing with his initial appearance, because he will respawn, we also need to address the assault from this left side. These units will solo your base if you let them. There's a good chance it's going to be quickly followed. I think a Warsong Raider, almost every single family I did, a Warsong Raider popped out, and then a safety pilot would pop out to stop your other defending units. So you kind of want to take them out as they get close to the base and just answer whatever they also throw at you. Once we do that, we want to control this tower, and from that tower we'll have protection from all enemies coming on this left side. As far as our assault goes, we're going to be sending units up the middle or up this left side once we have control, getting the gold from these 2 nodes in the mid game, but early game we'll come over here, grab gold from this node and flip it with this sign here. For the most part, we're going to ignore this right side turret and just address threats that come from it. It's the initial burst of this boss that is the difficult part. But once we've dealt with the Cannoneer, we'll converge on the boss, flip him around with a Quillboar, and then from there it should be quite easy. Alright, let's get into it. Alright, so we did get a Raider right away. I'm actually going to throw my Harpies here and my Chickens back here. That should deal with both of them without us taking too much damage. We got safety piloted. Hopefully, yeah, I think she'll deal with the rest. Perfect. So let's throw our Harpies up there now, and we'll flip the turret around with our Quillboar. That should let us get control of that base quite quickly. And it looks like we got a Brute spawned on us. but the brute didn't care about the base. I do not know why I threw chickens at an AoE cleave unit, but I did. So that's going to be taken down slowly by the one harpy. And I'll throw whelplings directly on the boss. So the fun thing about whelplings is because they need to take an initial hit before they pop out, they will actually tank the cannon's attack. Or I guess if that happens, then we might have to drop a execute instead. And there you go. So what I was going to say is they'll take the initial cannon hit, and then they'll beat up the boss from there, so there's no threat. But what ended up happening is a safety pilot was dropped. So we're actually getting some good convergence damage on the boss. You see, I did try and flip him around with a Quillbore. It led to some good damage, but not as much as I would have liked ultimately. Let's see where this Huntress goes. She's coming down the long way, so let's drop some eggs directly on top of her. And we got Murloc Tidehunters plus the Brute. So let's kind of wait and see which direction they're going. Let's use our Harpies to take that out. I'll throw my chickens to help deal with this guy. Safety pilot took out mine. And I was banging on those Harpies to clear that Brute out before he became a problem. Unfortunate. Alright, let's send our Kobold to get that. We'll try and get our Whelplings to eat that initial burst damage here. Alright, let's see where they're going. There you go. So he blew up the whelps, and then he immediately has to eat all the damage from said whelps. All right, here we go. So we're dealing with all the threats coming at us. Safety pilot will get some work in there. Unfortunately, gonna get immediately taken out by a brute. Let's try and save these chickens, at least for a little bit here. All right, there we go. So we do have control of the left side. Right side, no threats are coming as of yet. The Tauren guy hasn't respawned quite yet either. I think this is actually beginning a good time to finish the boss off. Unless my Harpies fly into that. All right, we're good. Kobold takes a hit. We turn the boss around, hit it with a safety pilot. Now there's chickens, there's Harpies, there's an execute, and the boss is gone. So it's all about kind of micromanaging all the threats, especially that Tauren Cannoneer. Once he gets one shot off, he's vulnerable. Take him out. And that's going to be it for Stranglethorn Vale. Definitely a more challenging section than what we've had in the past, particularly the Jin'rokh The Breaker. Once again, just trying to level that. But I'm glad we had a mostly universal army, and I hope you were paying attention, like I said in the opener, to the substitute units I was showing, because we will have to start leaning into the army slots the further we progress into the Heroic campaign. Alright, so with all of that gold we got from beating Stranglethorn Vale, I want to show you where I'm prioritizing my gold expenditure. As we get further, it's going to matter more and more because we need to level with experience. Our collection power, collection level is going to really kind of affect that, right? So it's important to get a lot of units to uncommon, but also we need to start eyeing some rare units. Particularly our MVPs, you see I'm using a lot of the same units all over the place. So Whelplings for me, that's an auto buy. I'd love to get them up to rare, get another talent on them. That'll increase their level by 2. The Taurens I use quite a bit. Tyrion Divine Shield, gain a magical shield at 30% health, absorbing all damage for 5 seconds. This is apparently the talent that most people prefer on Tyrion. Not for me. Not for PvE, not even close. I much prefer Consecration. So until I see Consecration for Tyrion, I won't be picking up a talent for him. Alright, so we could get Hogger up 1 level. Now he is my preferred beast leader, so we can go ahead and pull that trigger. Let's go ahead and do that. We see we got Brambles for our Quillbore, but I kind of prefer Bristleback, so we'll probably hold off on that one too. Chargold is already at 3 of 3, so we're not going to waste any gold there. Old Merc guy's at 1 of 3. He costs 120 though. Meat Wagon also 1 of 3, costs 90. I do want to get the Stonehoof Tauren up to 10, but that can kind of wait. She's definitely a top 15 character for me. We're going to use her a lot in the Heroic campaign, but not quite yet. Safety Pilot, yes, we want to get the Safety Pilot up to rare as quickly as possible, same as the Whelps, right? And the Harpies too. Alright, what do we got going on here? Nothing that I'm super interested in, so let's just grab the Tauren for now. Start working her up to rare. Still nothing, so let's get the Banshee up to rare. I don't really like using my buttons until like way later in the game. Or if I see something like this where I just don't like anything. So we use a button. How many do we have? We only have 1 left. So let's go ahead and drop that. Hopefully. All right, so we got some whelps. That's fantastic. Get our whelps closer and closer to rare. We're going to ignore that. I do like Pyroblast on the Pyromancer. She will be a character we're going to be using with our Blackrock deck as we get deeper in. So we'll probably pull the trigger there. Fan of the Flames is not the one we want for the Fire Rally. So let's go ahead and grab Pyroblast. Ugh. This is a bunch of stinkers. Let's get the Dark Iron Miner just so we can start getting him up towards Uncommon. Ooh, is that Bristleback? Yeah, alright, so we got Bristleback for the Quillbore. That's going to make him just do kind of passive damage whenever he gets spawned. That is definitely my preferred talent. Hogger's already at 3 of 3. Oh, there's Consecration. I love that for Tyrion, so let's go ahead and pick that one up too. 95 gold remaining, so we get the Wolf now. We can get one more piece. And we're not going to pull the trigger on any of these. All right, so that's going to be it for the gold spending. I can kind of see where my process is at. I'll go ahead and upgrade these beast leaders that I now can upgrade. Where are they? Okay. Old Merc guy, were you one? No. No, it was Hogger and Shardwell, right? Yeah. So we don't need any cores for these ones. It just costs the arc-like energy, so we'll go ahead and drop that. I'm actually down to 1,000, so we're going to have to do some dungeons here to boost that up. That's right, we gotta do a dungeon guide as well. So one thing that I'm kind of bummed out about is Execute. I really want to get Execute higher, but I haven't seen it in the store at all. I'm not sure if it's out of the store for whatever reason, but I really want to get Execute because there is a certain talent for Execute, the Bloodthirsty, that when combined with our Harpies or our Whelps can really trivialize a lot of stages. So if you see Execute, go ahead and pick it up. Now, what I might do is because gold is not coming for a few days, I might start pushing this to see if I can get Execute in the Troop Choice Sigils. Once we've done Stranglethorn Vale, you should be at the position where you can kind of clear the rest of the normal campaign. So I should easily be able to do all of that, and I should be able to do all the Blackrock Mountain as well, even though it's a punch up with the strategies we've been employing in the heroic mode. All right, let me know how this guide has helped you out. Hopefully it's still helped you out. I know they're coming out a little bit slower than I would like. I covered another game that got really, really busy, although that's not a great excuse. It's the one I got. So take care, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. That's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Stay happy, healthy, have fun, and I'll see you in the next one.